I was starting design. I was discovering this work when I was young, and I was passionate by drawings and creation. My father was a painter, but not professional painter, but artist painter for a weekend. And that gives me something, this creative feeling with him. And after, I was interested by technology and art, and in between you have design. So it was something brilliant. Now for me, it was more in my approach. My interest was more very large in between art and technology. So in between you have so many fields, and this was so from my curiosity very stimulated. So it was graphic design, art, sculpture, printing, architecture, design, so everything. So it was difficult for me to have a choice. So I was at a certain point with my study, in between to study architecture and design. But for me, architecture looks like more in too much long process to arrive at a certain result. And for me, it was maybe less interesting and more frustration, because don't create some objects. You need to have some people to build, and the scale is maybe too much bigger. In design, you can create some small objects, you can create some interiors design. The scale, you have so many scales, and in this way, it was more, in my vision, very interesting in terms of opportunities. Design for me is more to create some objects with a certain relationship with the user, but relationship with the maker with some companies. And we are a little bit coordinator, and you create this in this object. We try to put our stories and about know of the companies, process, know with the materials, and certain sensibility. And this sensibility is a link between the user, the know, and something with trend and something else. So at the end, it's just something. Designer is like magia for me. Yeah, right. There was always some different tendencies, different trends. Before it was more dedicated with the industrial, because I work more in furniture and in part of industrial design. But for example, furniture now is more decorative, more expressive, and they may be more connected with a certain to respect the environment in terms of materials and in terms with know-how. And this is very important, and the market is looking for. After, when I was starting, there was no social media, no internet, or less internet. So at a certain point, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, we are a lot of designer makers, and this creates some new way, more important, called collectible design. And we saw now that is very important, this field of design. And so it gives more influences in different fields of design. Another thing that it gives more this sensation that few years ago we have technology about AI is arrived. And this is helping a lot in industrial design to create some objects, a new field, and some typology of design and objects too, and expression. And it gives for me more certain interest to the maker, and that the people is making directly with the material. And so we have a lot of designers are working more with process, having a workshop, and to create these own objects and selling directly on the market. Yes, you have this both way in terms of technology with 3D printing and with some interesting plastic, not plastic, but it's becoming in between some natural material and plastic. and you have this traditional material that they are used from centuries as fabric, yes, or ceramic or wood that keep always the top of the top in terms of material, because the people is waiting to have something with low process and with low design, and this gives a certain value to the traditional material and process too. It's difficult to start in design, but I think that is the same thing when you work in field of arts or something like, or in music. The best is to keep hard, to work, and to be aware with a lot of opportunities, and to keep a target and don't move on this, and working after many years, at a certain point you arrive at a certain position and some doors will open and it will become more easy, but it's a lot of work. So at the end it's the same thing for all designers, architects or musicians, I think so. It's the first time for me to visit Croatia and Zagreb, and to discover this design week is interesting because I'm discovering some new name of, not new name, but for me they are new because new area of design for me in Europe. It's very potential. I know some brands in this area in Bosnia or in Croatia. They are placing very well on the market. I saw some different brands in Salon del Mobilier before, and I think that is interesting. And there's no around the wood, because the material is very important here, we see, and there is a certain know-how, and this is interesting. I think that in the future I will discover more designers from this Croatian designer on international market. There are some few designers, but I think that it will become bigger, and with some new brands, I hope so too. And Design Week is cool, nice people. Today the weather is not so nice, but before it was so sunny. No, it's very friendly. I appreciate the relationship with the people. It's easy, and we have some new designer, interesting. They asked me some various impression about the design that we exhibit in the area on the back. It was interesting with this exhibition.